Hey there. This is my fourth video on Yemen's disaster, and I haven't talked about Al-Qaeda at all. Having studied Yemen for a number of months now, I think that's about right. If I had to rank all the challenges facing Yemen right now, I'd probably put violent jihadism somewhere around number 25. But that's not how the U.S. government sees it. For the Bush and Obama administrations, nothing mattered more in this country of almost 30 million than Al-Qaeda. Ali Abdullah Saleh, Yemen's Machiavellian president, recognized this and milked it for all it was worth. I maintain that Yemen's current disaster isn't entirely the fault of the United States. Yemen has been a country of building pressures for decades, but our Al-Qaeda obsession certainly didn't help. As the most powerful country in the world, we put our finger on the scale to make Yemen just that little bit more screwed up. And in so doing, we may have turned the myth of a growing and powerful Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula into a reality. The most important factor in Yemen's relationship to violent jihad is the country's poverty. Yemen has a lot of people, and unlike the rest of the peninsula, it doesn't have much in the way of oil resources. I've mentioned elsewhere the way that Saudi Arabia's hyperdevelopment has hurt the generally less developed countries of the Muslim world. Poor countries across Africa and Asia have had their local interpretations of Islam crushed by Saudi ideas. Yemen's location, directly to the south of Saudi Arabia, sharing a long and porous border, means that it has been harder hit than most. From the first years of the Republic in North Yemen in the 1970s, the Saudis have been building Wahhabi schools and mosques. The Saudis have made great progress with the Sunni population of Yemen, and a surprising amount of progress with its Zaydi Shia population as well, creating great resentment among Yemen's traditional ruling classes. The Houthi rebellion, for example, got started in 2004 as a response to this Saudi Wahhabi infiltration and its indirect connection to Israel and the United States. During the first flourishing of violent jihad in the 1980s, Yemenis were overrepresented. The U.S.-Saudi jihad in Afghanistan presented a spiritual opportunity for Yemeni youth, but the economic opportunity was probably just as important. Saleh turned the returning jihadists against more local communists, using them to win the war against the South in 1994. This history, combined with Yemen's general Wild West vibe, made the country a comfortable refuge for Al-Qaeda. The USS Cole bombing, which took place in Aden in October 2000, provided an early indication of this. As we mentioned last time, in 2001, Yemeni President Ali Abdullah Saleh had a problem. He had used oil revenues to build something that looked kind of like a modern state, but oil revenues were fading. He needed a new source of income. September 11th gave it to him. Saleh did not repeat his 1990 mistake when he defied the international community to stay loyal to Saddam Hussein. In November of 2001, he traveled to Washington, D.C. and declared conspicuous loyalty in the war on terror. He was well rewarded for his choice. Saleh had already demonstrated his mastery of Yemeni politics simply by surviving for a couple decades. But his playing of the United States as the oil ran out may be his true masterwork. Throughout the Bush and first Obama administrations, he used U.S. weapons and money to secure his power. He built out large counterterrorism forces controlled by his family members that were more often used against the Houthis and southern separatists than they were used against Al-Qaeda. Saleh's regime should have ended with the decline of oil money, or at least it should have been forced to turn into something different and quite possibly better. U.S. counterterrorism money may have given Saleh 10 more years of unaccountable rule. Saleh's actual efforts against Al-Qaeda militants have been heavily questioned in the West. He was reliant on jihadi rehabilitation programs of dubious merit and surrenders and arrests that look a lot more like promises to do better than actual punishments. I think this criticism is merited, but it kind of misses the point. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but Saleh wasn't really running a country here. He was running a negotiation. Throughout the 1980s and the 1990s, the Yemeni state used jihadi money and ideology to shore up its power. Much of Saleh's framework of power was built on Saudi money and radicalism. This was very much in service to U.S. anti-communist objectives, by the way. It was more than a bit ridiculous to expect Saleh to turn around and ship many of his major supporters to Guantanamo. And it turns out that Saleh's approach against Al-Qaeda was a lot more effective than the U.S. approach. Despite the decades of Saudi money and the history of jihad, there probably weren't more than a couple hundred members of Al-Qaeda in Yemen before the acceleration of the drone war. After the failed underwear bombing in the skies over Detroit in 2009, the U.S. forced Saleh to accept an accelerated program of drone strikes. These strikes, which tend to take out large numbers of civilians and the occasional wedding party, have probably done more than anything else to recruit members to Al-Qaeda. The drone strikes certainly didn't help Saleh retain power. His strategy of using U.S. money to maintain his crumbling government finally collapsed in 2011. The Arab Spring brought the people to the streets to protest his seemingly endless rule. More importantly, resentment of the amount of power and money he was giving to his immediate family split the military. Saleh agreed to give up power in November 2011 after surviving a rocket attack. This led to a period of barely controlled chaos from 2011 to 2014, and not at all controlled chaos from 2015 until today. Saleh has teamed up with the Houthis against the Saudis and members of his old government. It's a mess, and this chaos is great for Al-Qaeda. For year-long periods, they have managed to take over cities and surrounding territories in parts of southern Yemen. They've been pushed out both times, but the Saudi-supported government hasn't exactly been interested in hunting them down. That government has teamed up with the jihadists on certain fronts. In fact, the United States is now de facto allied with Al-Qaeda in Yemen, just as it was in Syria. This is what we get for supporting the Saudi agenda. Our blind focus on Al-Qaeda in Yemen has been a complete failure. Our drone war is Al-Qaeda's best recruiting tool. Our support for Saleh, long after everybody else in the country was sick of him, contributed to Yemen's fall into chaos. And it's that chaos, more than anything else, that keeps Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula going. Our stories about Yemen have failed completely. Next time, I'll suggest a better way of looking at the crisis in Yemen, and I'll suggest the only way forward. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And if you'd like to help me make more videos like this one, I'd suggest you click on the Patreon link here. It's only crowdfunding dollars that keep this going. Thanks.